Hello again. My name is Brian. I have bipolar disorder. This is Tough Talk, and I have a lot to talk about. Today I have a correction for my previous video regarding my hospitalization. I have therapy once a week to deal with post-traumatic stress symptoms. And in my last therapy session this week, we came across a bit of information that was a bit more important than I otherwise realized. And that is, it was thrown around verbally at the hospital during my stay that I might be antisocial or have antisocial behavior. And I didn't know what this meant. I didn't want to be around people while I was there. I was very sick. So I was antisocial. I was okay, I get that. I didn't get that. Because I'm at therapy and I'm talking about it with my my therapist, and he's stunned. He's like, "Whoa, they said that about you?" Or they were talking about it. And I was like, "Yeah." I think they may have even told my parents at one point that I have antisocial behavior, something like that. And he took the time. He grabbed his textbook, brought it out, and he read the definition for antisocial. And in general, it means con man, disobeys authority, is contrary, a whole bunch of other things. And it's a whole medical condition that I was undiagnosed for, and I'm not. No doctor had given me a diagnosis for it, but the staff, the social workers, the nurses, they all had this rumor confirmed, and they were confirming it for each other around the hospital because they had no other way to explain my behavior. Like I said, my psychiatrist who was treating me there at the hospital, he kept it hidden that I was at the lethal limit or twice the lethal limit of lithium. And so my behavior was extreme, and I have notes about all of these incidences. I'm just trying to show you, there's a ton of, pages here that identify and talk about those incidences. But in every one of those incidences, the staff is writing a note of a certain degree. Like, they make conclusions about my behavior that are unnecessary. They only need to state the facts in the notes, but yet they make conclusions, and all the conclusions point towards some greater behavioral problem that I might have. And the reason why I'm talking about this is because this is proof of why stigma matters. Because they saw me to act a certain way, gave me a certain label, they were blind to the deathly need that I had. They were blind to how much danger I was in. They were blind to the signs of lithium toxicity, a lethal overdose. And they were blind because they had already confirmed what it was. So no other option needed to be available. And so that's the problem with stigma. And naturally, they came to that conclusion very quickly. The first day that I'm there, I'm actually experiencing a manic episode, but they're explaining my behavior as something other than manic. And they're doing so because they are preconditioned to identify that behavior with stigma and with intense prejudice. And naturally, they have to treat people who actually have this antisocial behavior. They have to treat them the way that they treated me. However, by treating me that way when I don't have that behavior, made them blind to the grave situation of my condition, and blind to my toxicity, and completely blind to me. So what I want to say is that if you think about mental illness and you hear people in mental illness advocate for reducing the stigma or ending the stigma, and you want to know why that matters, Well, there are millions of other patients out there that go into these hospitals, and the nursing staff, the staff there, it goes all the way through even the psychiatrists. Well, the stigma that they have regarding these conditions, the labels that they give these patients, it influences how they are able to treat the patient. For better or worse, mostly worse. Because as it was with me, in my situation, the label that they gave me of antisocial gave them free rein to treat me badly, abuse me verbally, and so on. Because that was the only way they were going to get through to me in their minds. It caused me a great deal of suffering. I have had many restless nights for 2 years running now. And I think we really need to end the stigma to make sure that doesn't happen for other people. I think these guys, they're too far gone. Like, if you read any of the stuff that they did to me, it's horrendous. But there are other people out there that can be reached, and we can all make a difference and do our part by talking about it. Nothing's taboo, like lives are in the balance here, So nothing is taboo. I will talk about everything. I will talk about it endlessly, and I won't rest until I've done my part. Because I could have lost my life, and that would have irreparably damaged my family. And I know that other families are going through very similar things, and for their sake, I'm talking about it. Anyway, that's the video that I have for today. Thanks for watching, and again, I've been Brian. Tough talk is very near and dear to me. It is the most important thing that I'm doing with my life right now, besides taking care of myself and my own health. But it's the most important thing that I'm doing, so I really hope that you can share it. I really hope that you can like it. I really hope that you can help get the word out. I really hope that you will learn compassion for people with mental illness. We'll realize that they are capable and ordinary human beings if they can get the right treatment, if they can get the right help. I want to get to a point, in this nation or in the world, such that mental illness is as simple and as well understood as heart failure. That if your heart fails, you go in and you get treatment for it, and maybe a heart transplant. And it's procedural, and it's understood. Well, something very different is happening in your brain, but it's still a breakdown of functionality, and it has, that whole level of symptoms. If we could just understand that it's a disease, all of these are diseases. They're based in reality. You can prove that this stuff is happening. I think that the world would be a better place for everyone. There's so much about mental illness that is, even in the most well-developed first world country, is so lagging behind the times. And let's fix that. Let's get it up to speed, and let's do that by talking. So. All right, second outro. I'm Brian. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. I'll see you next time.